UN upholds the universality of human rights. It means all human rights for all without any discrimination. And unfortunately, girls are subject to discrimination since they are born. Actually, they are subject to discrimination even before they are born. If we think of the sex-selective abortion, infanticide, that even alter the demographic patterns, creating in some 20 countries a scarcity of girls and women that in the future may also lead to social conflict in addition to the fact that it's morally questionable. Then you can see that discrimination prevents girls from enjoying the rights to which they are entitled. That is a sufficient moral obligation for the UN to fight for parity, equality, and girls' rights. But if we don't just want to use the moral argument, let's just think that there is no other development tool which is more effective than girls' education and empowerment. So, enjoyment of girls' rights is in the society interest and is individually just and fair for every girl that is born. This is why I think we cannot do but fight until we are satisfied that every girl has the same right that every boy. UNDP quite often, together with other UN agencies and civil society organizations, and why not in many cases with national institutions, National Commission on Child for instance, or National Commission for Women, are involved in a number of actions, engaged in a number of actions that try to promote girls' rights and their progressive realization. It starts from making sure that enrollment rates in school come close between boys and girls. We also particularly devote ourselves to social advertising and advocacy. It means that we question and we invite people to rethink those patriarchal norms that do not allow girls to be as valued in society as boys and women as much as men. Not all traditions are good. We try through communication to invite societies to rethink prejudice, social prejudice and norms that sometimes impede women to be empowered, girls to be educated, and condemn them to, for instance, to child labor, early marriages, and why not to some very disruptive social norms such as the dowry, that together with patriarchal norms is a conspiration against girls that force them not to be valued as much as boys, because boys do not have an obligation to bring a dowry when they marry. It's the girl that does, it's the family of the girl that does, which brings about a number of choices. When a family is in difficulty, very frequently the girl is the first one to be withdrawn from school. So girls' education and support to the attendance of the school and the quality of the education is also another of our common programs around the world. I think one should stay engaged. As I say, I think everybody knows that girls' empowerment, girls' education, women empowerment are the best tools, the silver bullet we have in development, towards sustainable human development. It is obvious. If you have a girl that completes primary education, the probability of her children to die before 5 are half, and are actually double the chances of surviving 5 years of age, and half the chances of being subject to malnutrition. So the returns are huge. The international community should not lose sight of how much productive is an investment in girls, and it's not even a question of resources. It's a question of engaging, it's a question of commitment, it's a question of challenging norms, behaviors, and legislative frameworks and national policies that are not conducive to realize the potential of half the young population, the girls, for the benefit of all the society. So I think staying engaged, not being distracted with so many other priorities, but recognizing that girls' empowerment, girls' education can really be what changes the perspective of development. Then, it is a question of priority in the agenda more than it's a question of resources. This is why I appreciate very much that Plan, together with us and other partners, are engaging in this European Week of Action for Girls. Because 1 year or 1 day is not enough. One needs to periodically remind our partners and the countries of the world, particularly where more progress is needed, that this is not one issue among many, is a priority. We cannot tolerate that 65 million of girls are out of school, out of the 100 million, 110 million of children that are out of primary school. It is about 60% that the girls' share is 60%. This is not fair and should be remedied. Too many kids out of school do not bring any benefit of society, and these are discrimination and abuse of their rights. Now, education, as it was recognized already at the beginning of this century, has the potential to change radically the picture of development. We support education enrollment, but it's not only a question of quantity. Also, the quality of education has to be now improved in the framework post-2015. The Millennium Development Goals, like the Human Development Index of UNDP has done, need to include a dimension and an indicator of quality of education. We have found that there is a high percentage of girls and boys that have gone through 4 years of primary school that still cannot read and write. So it's not question of enrolling and then dropping out. It's not question of enrolling and receiving education that is third rate, which does not really increase learning and knowledge, which is necessary also to transmit to the family and to the future generation. So that girls' education is within the girls' empowerment universe, perhaps the most critical of all dimensions.